let's talk about the game.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And then the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
So by rule, the game is over.
The Lions Hangover.
Welcome to the Lions Hangover podcast. I am your host, Brad. It's Brad. Thanks for watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts. If you do one, check out the other, because it's always good. And of course, I feel like I'm supposed to say something like smash that like bar or that like button and pound that subscribe button, what all the other enthusiastic podcasters say. But realistically, just thanks for watching and are listening to everything I have to say. So it's not like my opinion matters. I'm just a schlub. But yeah, let's dive into the game. Oh, and don't forget to find me on all the social medias. Yay, social media. So the Lions, they start off on offense today against the New York Jets, who play their games in New Jersey. I don't know why they do that, but that's just the way they do. The Lions do win today 20-17, and they pull to 500 for the first time since before the Matt Patricia days. So the Lions, their first drive, they're moving the ball, they're looking good, they're doing everything they want to do, and then they stall out at the 1 yard line in the Jets turf. 1 yard line. They were so close to a touchdown. But the defense, who played fairly well all day, a little bit of a passing hiccup. Passing defense still needs some work, but they're not as bad as they were at the beginning of the season. However, they forced the Jets to a 3-and-out, and on the punt from their end zone, Khalif Raymond took it, I think it was 46 yards for a touchdown. I'm trying to think. I think that's the first touchdown this season on a punt return. I think I'm right on that. Nobody said anything. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So that's his first punt return. I'm calling it. It's official. First punt return, touchdown this season. So let's stick with that stat. Overall, Lions offense, there was no huge bright spots. Badgley, who was good but not amazing, he kicked 2 for 3 today. He did miss a 54-yarder. I appreciate them giving him an opportunity to kick that 54-yarder because now we know he can't kick a 54-yarder. So anything 50 yards and less, give Badgley a shot. I am good with that. I'm good with his accuracy, just apparently he doesn't have a strong enough leg. It didn't seem to be windy today in the Meadowlands, so I don't think wind played a part in it. It just fell short is what it looked like on TV. I believe that's what the announcer said too. So Badgley, who I like, again, I like him, but now we know if it's going to be more than 50 yards, we should probably go for it on that fourth down. And I won't fault Dan Campbell for doing that. I won't be like, what's he doing? Because I'll just know. I'll be like, oh, well, Badgley can't kick a 50-yarder, so, which is fine. I don't care. Just be consistent. Lions defense, though, pretty solid. Overall, pretty solid. Okwara gets his first sack back, and he gets a sack at the end of the game. That was a critical sack as well. And, of course, Houston, who now has 5 sacks in his first 4 career games, which to me I love because it's like Aiden Hutchinson, somebody's going to catch you. Like they're on a higher pace. So, which I love Hutchinson. I just want some competition because what if they both just take turns getting sacks, just trying to outdo one another. I like the thought of that. I love the thought of having a dominant defense. But yeah, so Okwara had 2 sacks a day, and then Jerry Jacobs had an interception. It's his first of the year, and it's the Lions' 12th straight game with a takeaway, which is currently the longest active streak in the NFL. As I was saying, overall, the Lions' offense lacks some explosiveness. That is, of course, until late in the fourth quarter when all they needed was a few inches for a first down, and that's what all the play was designed for, too. It wasn't a deep throw, but they throw to Brock Wright, and he ends up scoring on a 51-yard touchdown. It was pretty sad. I don't know how the Jets didn't catch him. Where was Sauce Gardner at on that one? Brock Wright's not the fastest guy, and he was able to score pretty easily. So let's talk about some stats. Jared Goff played solid. Nothing super exciting. He threw for 252 yards today. He was 23 of 38. He had one touchdown to Mr. Brock Wright. Of course, 51 of those 252 yards came on that one play. His overall quarterback rating was a whopping 88.9, so just mediocre. Definitely not what he has been doing because he's been up around 100 or just over 100 with his quarterback ratings. On the ground today, DeAndre Swift, 8 carries, 52 yards. That's an average of 6.5 yards, his longest being 16 yards. Jamal Williams, 13 carries for 33 yards, no touchdowns. He hasn't had a touchdown in a couple games now, I believe. He almost had one today, but it was called back on a holding call. I want to say on Evan Brown. I feel like he had a few penalties in his return game. Overall, the Lions ran 28 times for 107 yards between 4 people that carried the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown carried the ball 1 time for 6 yards, and Justin Jackson carried the ball 6 times for 16 yards. I have to say this. I'm ready for DeAndre Swift to take a bigger responsibility role on the offense. Give him the ball. Let's see what he can do. I need to see him carry the ball 15 times next week against Carolina. I need to see it. We need to know if he can run. We need to know if he can stay healthy. This shouldn't be part of the game plan. Like, let's coddle him a little bit to make sure he doesn't get injured. Let's keep him from having the ball. Like, we need him to produce. Average-wise, he's getting the yardage. So let's double that. If he doubled what he did today, he would have had over 100 yards on the ground, which is something the Lions probably needed at certain times. I feel like they're giving Justin Jackson too much opportunity. I don't hate Justin Jackson. I like him when Swift is injured and when Craig Reynolds is injured. But to me, he is a 4th-string running back on our team. So if DeAndre Swift is healthy, Jamal Williams is healthy, I'm cool with Jamal Williams getting 13 carries. I want more than 33 yards, but 13 carries is plenty of opportunity for Jamal Williams. They're not necessarily putting him in the best situation. I don't think the plays they design up for Jamal Williams are really paying off for him. It's really, really predictable, straight-up short yardage stuff. So his lack of yardage isn't necessarily him. Like, his role on the team is to get like 3.5 yards a carry. Today he was getting 2.5 yards a carry. But regardless, DeAndre Swift, let's see him get the ball more. Let's see him run the ball more. This dude can get 100 yards a game. If he's healthy, let him do it. If he's not on the injury report, set him free. Let this man produce for us. And if you're not going to use him, I don't have a problem with that because we're winning. But if we're not going to use him, then it's obviously we need to get rid of him. Either a trade or just cut him or something. I mean, not mid-season, not now, of course. That would be ridiculous. But, is his production this year at the second half of the year, is that kind of telling you what the Lions are feeling about him long term? Are they really babying him? If we get in the playoffs, we're going to need DeAndre Swift. Of course we're going to need DeAndre Swift in the playoffs, but we need him to get to the playoffs. So, you got to let the man do his thing. So if he can run the ball, let him run the ball. If he can't run the ball, if you don't trust him, why are you playing him at all? Anyway, that was my little rant about DeAndre Swift. I'm ready. Piss or get off the pot. That's what I'm saying. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a decent day, 7 receptions, 76 yards, no touchdowns. They used him a lot in short yardage situations. His longest was 14 yards today. Khalif Raymond, other than the punt return, he also had 5 catches for 53 yards. And DeAndre Swift, not only running the ball, but he caught the ball 5 times for 23 yards. I'm good with that too. 5 catches out of the backfield, that's plenty for a running back. Now, DJ Chark, quiet today. They did target him a few times, but he only had 1 catch for 18 yards. Justin Jackson caught 1. James Mitchell, who was active early in the game, they seemed to go away from him at the end. It's I know we got rid of Hawkinson, and we're doing fine without Hawkinson. We are now 6-1 without Hawkinson. But I still think overall it would be important to have a tight end involved in the game plan. So if we could just pick one, either Brock Wright or Mitchell or even Zylstra. I'm not hating on Zylstra, but I'm not a fan either. Just pick one guy and go with it. And I don't care if the other guy gets some catches, but again, pick a tight end you can game plan around and use as a weapon. I would be happy if Brock Wright not only got his 51 yards, but maybe he got like 70 yards and 2 more catches, The defense is really what was shining today, though. Again, they had 4 sacks. Aquara had 2 of those. Aiden Hutchinson played, I thought, a really solid game. He had 5 tackles, 4 solo tackles. One of those tackles was for a loss. Rodriguez, I thought, played really great. He had some pressures on the quarterback. Aquara was probably the highlight of the defense, Jerry Jacobs, with that interception. He also had a 38-yard return with that interception. And Jack Fox, he punted 4 times for 178 yards for an average of 44.5 yards. He pinned them back in the 20 just one time. If you guys want to talk about the Jets, let's talk about the Jets. Zach Wilson went 18 for 35, 317 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. His quarterback rating was 89.8, which is better than Jared Goff. So, which overall isn't that great. Zonovan Knight carried the ball 13 times, 23 yards. Michael Carter carried the ball 4 times for 15 yards. Again, the Lions' run defense is stopping the run. Nobody can run on the Lions' defense. This is going on like 6 or 7 weeks now. The offenses are able to pass on them, though. That's something they need to tighten up on, like that little sound effect. But Garrett Wilson had 4 receptions for 98 yards. Jeff Smith had 4 receptions for 77 yards. Elijah Moore, 4 receptions, 51 yards. That's right there. Those 3 guys, 12 catches for, 220 yards. Right around 220 yards. I'm just trying to do the quick math. And, of course, you got C.J. Uzoma, their tight end, who had 2 touchdowns today. So, again, that's a game plan. You're involving your tight end. Uzoma only had 2 catches for 41 yards. Both of those was for touchdown. So it's just that's something you just sort of miss a little bit. So let's take a look because I wanted to see Sauce Gardner, 4 tackles, 3 solo. No interceptions, no sacks. So I feel like as far as a head-to-head matchup comparison, I feel like Aiden Hutchinson came out the winner today. Sauce Gardner didn't really do much as far as keeping the Lions from throwing the ball because, who's the Lions' biggest threat on offense right now as far as receiving goes? That's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he caught the ball 7 times. And this is something that I was talking about last week too. What are you going to do? Because you got to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got to cover DJ Chark, which Chark had a quiet day. So maybe Sauce Gardner was just on Chark all day. Jameson Williams was targeted once, and it was the exact same play that he scored the touchdown on last week. And like last week, it was an underthrown ball by Jared Goff. It was just underthrown. James Williams had to stop. This time he was covered, though. He wasn't wide open. If he was wide open, it would have been another touchdown, just like last week. But Goff, man, he can play consistent, but you got to know who he is. He's not a deep ball thrower. A lot of his balls today, a lot of his incompletions were just coming up short. They were in the ground. They were low, poorly thrown balls. That's not to say he didn't make some excellent passes today. He did. I was really impressed with some of the balls he threw at, even Swift or St. Brown and Khalif Raymond. And the ball he threw to Brock Wright was really good as well. Of course, that led to a touchdown. But he is doing things right. But the thing he can't do consistently is throw the ball deep. And it's not whether they catch it or not. It's just Jameson Williams shouldn't have to stop running to catch the ball. So it's as simple as that. But overall, the Lions won, so it's not a problem. Game aspirin today. It's all defense. I would give game aspirin to Aquara for his 2 sacks. I believe it's his first 2 sacks on the season since coming back from injuries. Houston, I would give him a game aspirin. I thought he played great today. He's continuing the streak of getting sacks. Like I said, he's got 5 sacks in 4 games now. And Jerry Jacobs for that timely interception. That was huge. He also was keeping that streak alive where the Lions had 12 straight games with a takeaway. Overall, it was kind of ugly. It was kind of boring. Not a whole lot of scoring. I think the score was right around what people were expecting, but still, it was like once you see the game play out, you're like, come on, man. Like, where's some offense? Let's see something. I really did not expect Jared Goff because he's kind of due to come down to earth a little bit. So I was not expecting a strong performance from Goff today, but I was expecting the run game to step it up a little bit, especially with the injuries that the Jets had on defense. And it's like none of that really happened. So the offense was kind of lacking today, minus that one explosive play from Brock Wright and minus the punt return from Khalif Raymond. Overall, though, we got the win. We're 7-7. We're moving in the right direction. Up next, we play the Panthers on Christmas Eve. That's a Saturday. The Panthers did lose today to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sam Darnold had 225 yards in the air. His quarterback rating was 108. He did have a touchdown, no interceptions, but he was sacked 4 times. So what does that tell us, boys and girls? I feel like we're going to have a good day against Sam Darnold. As far as the pressure goes, we're going to be able to get pressure on him. Our defensive line is really strong right now, and they're stopping the run, and they're getting pressure on it. They're absorbing those blocks. Our defensive backs are getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. So looking for us to have a good day as far as being able to stop Sam Darnold. Now, they do have little bit of a double threat of running backs. They didn't do anything today. They rushed the ball 16 times for only 21 yards. Lions should be able to capitalize on this. I look for the same performance from our defensive line today against the run. I look for Carolina's rushing attack to have the same performance as they did against Pittsburgh. So I'm not expecting much of a different stat line. But a week ago when they played Seattle, they did beat Seattle. Hubbard and Foreman both had over 70 yards carrying. So the potential is there, but the Lions are shutting everybody down. So as long as you're shutting the run down against Carolina, you're going to force Sam Darnold to throw on you, which we should be getting pressure on. This should be a victory. Now it's like the grand scheme of things, the big picture, you still have to play the game. The Lions are now looking at, they've won 6 out of 7 games. They're going to be looking at winning 7 out of 8 games, which head-to-head, it's not impossible to beat Carolina. We should beat Carolina. However, it is very difficult in the NFL to win 7 out of 8 games. There are very few teams that win 7 out of 8 games. So it just statistically, it's like something like we should beat these teams that we have left on our schedule. But still, it's like you got to play these games. So I'm just saying, word of caution. I'm expecting a victory, though. I'm expecting very little scoring out of Carolina. I'm expecting big things from the Lions defense. Hopefully we can get another fumble or another interception and keep that takeaway streak going. Hopefully Jared Goff can take care of the ball. He can keep that going with his consistency. And hopefully we can establish the run game against Carolina. I really do want to see Swift get more involved or just move on from him. It's like, what are we doing? Because we're winning, so there's not a whole lot of pressure right now. Same with Jameson Williams. I would love to see him just get unleashed, but it seems with every game, we're not really planning on him being a presence this season. It's like we're just not worried about it. It's like, okay, let him get some time, let him get his feet wet, but we're really not going to utilize him until next year, which is kind of like now he's taking up a roster spot to maybe throw to him once a game. Like, come on, man. Like, we could be using somebody else. Like, I want Jameson Williams here. I want to get him involved. Like, give people a reason to buy his jersey for his production, not for his hype. So it's like everybody's like waiting to become his number one fan, but the Lions aren't giving us a reason to be his number one fan. So quit holding him back. He's going to be fine. This is going to be his 4th game next week. Let him play. Other than that, I think I zipped through that pretty fast. You guys got anything to say? You got any questions? You can email me, lionshangover@gmail.com. It might be the Lions Hangover Podcast at Gmail. Maybe I should edit this out. I don't know. All right, just email the Lions Hangover at Gmail or email the Lions Hangover Podcast at Gmail. Just send them both out, and I'm sure one of them somebody would answer. I don't know why anybody would email me. You could easily just comment on something on social media. That would be the way to do it. I love the comments. I do get some comments on the YouTube page. I appreciate it. You guys keep going. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about things, even on Twitter, anything. I did have a great Twitter poll. Let's see. I'll pull that up real quick. On the Twitter poll this week was winning 5 of 6. I think it's fair that the chances the Lions can win out. Which of the remaining opponents scare you the most? And I listed the Lions' 4 remaining games. And the majority of the people, 60 votes. It was a pretty modest poll for me, but 60 votes, and everybody picked the Jets. So nobody picked the Panthers, nobody picked the Bears, so everybody's feeling like these guys should be pushovers. Hopefully that's the case, but you can't play like that. You have to play like everybody is a Super Bowl contender. Otherwise, you're going to get run over one day by a team that shouldn't be running you over, a la the Houston Texans. And today, who did they play? I don't know. They played somebody. I think they played Kansas City, something like that. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on that. I see, all the scores of the game, and then I get them mixed up. Anyway, Twitter poll. Follow me on Twitter, at the Lions Hangover Podcast. Twitter polls are always fun. Twitter poll. Right? Advertisement by repetition. Yeah, Twitter poll. All right, that's it for me. You guys have a very happy holidays. I will see you guys Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or even post Christmas Day, the 26th. I don't know. Holidays are always crazy, but I will get a show out. Happy the game is on a Saturday. Those games feel like a little bit fun. Man, I would love it if it was flexed to like an evening game, because the evening games on a Saturday would be amazing. But yeah, okay, that's it. Thanks again for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and of course, thanks for reviewing and telling your friends about me. 5 stars, say whatever you want in a review. Be like, this dude smells, but it's a fantastic show, 5 stars. This dude constantly has boogers. Awesome show, though, 5 stars. You can even say crappy show, 5 stars. I don't really care. Be funny, be creative, just 5 stars. Thumbs ups, comments, subscribes. Smash that subscribe button. That's it. I'm going to go home now. Screw you guys. I'm going home.